Chairman. As anybody who's seen the posters in town will know, myself, Councillors Crowe and Roberts are ward members for the trees and for this area. Obviously it's also unsurprising for the Leader of the Council seek to respond. So if I may do in the first instance, please, Chairman, thank Julia for the way which that was presented, the information and the very measured way it was done, which is a delight. And for all of the attendants to come and show that there is a strength of feeling out there. Julia, you said this isn't about politics. It is, but in the best way. This is the best variety of politics. This is the first occasion I certainly recall, and I have asked others who've been on the council for longer, the first occasion we've had a petition that triggers such an occasion where the petitioner can present it themselves and that we thereafter debate it. So I welcome. So thanks again for all involved. Now, turning to the issue, I do have something of a reputation for not doing flim-flam and not just saying things to please people. So I'm going to tell you now there's good news and there's bad news. And I hope the good news, which I shall go to last, it is what you wish to receive. But I'd be doing a disservice to colleagues and those who I believe took the decision and the thought into the project if I did not seek to explain some of the thinking that went behind it. Because, Julia, you're quite correct to cite some of those planning policies, but there are others. And the difficulty with planning, as my colleagues who I have huge empathy for on the planning committee know, everything is the balance in the favour of the public benefit. So I have received some letters regarding this and linked to the petition, which do pick up on other issues around discouraging parking, discouraging traffic. In fact, one suggested the entire town centre, no traffic should be permitted. There are difficulties in that respect, which any planning authority and council has to fully understand and weigh against other priorities. So in that respect, public transport is important, and we have done work with colleagues around the bus station, the coach park, cycling routes, about trying to make pavements and walking areas safer, there'll be lighting on Sparrow Lane and other areas, so we are trying to improve that. But we do know some people choose not to walk or not to cycle because of fear of crime, if not because of actual crime. And our statistics in this district point to an increasingly elderly population, and a high number of our population have blue badges, and quite a high proportion compared to others have green badges. So we have people who have mobility difficulties that we have to consider, not least because the provision in the town centre in order to pedestrianise some areas has been reduced for those persons. And so you do need edge of town centre provision for people who have difficulties accessing shops and services, and we must bear that in mind. It's not to say we don't do work around public transport, but we do realise the car is king in very many rural areas. We don't provide the bus services. We can best react only for those residents that come here. And reflecting on some of the comments with regard to retail, I've met many of the retailers who totally locally and other events, and the only issues they keep bringing up with me are parking, that there should be more and it should be free. If you have free parking, you'll have no empty spaces. That is why there is a charge, which has been revised to encourage more to use out-of-town car parking, more to use it to connect to the train where we have increased services, and more to use it to connect to the buses. But immediate edge-of-town centre car parking as an economic requirement, as well as the social, and then the balances alongside the environmental, I do understand. Similarly, this has come about alongside other issues. It was unfortunate that Severn Trent cut the trees down on London Road, but they did, they have to, they have legal powers to do so, and we ourselves have had to do some works to ensure that the CCTV cameras can actually see people on the ground and not encourage people into areas which there are in that immediate vicinity where we've had a lot of reports around social behaviour, particularly in Beaumont Gardens. So those are the sort of aspects of the council, probably the planning commission. I was on it, so I wasn't party to that decision. Those colleagues that chose to go on it, I don't know why, they took that decision, and quite rightly, they would have probably held the balance on that basis, and I can see some notes indicating that. All right, the good news then, and there is some. Some of my colleagues, particularly the one immediately adjacent to me, tend to tease me that I am actually a tree hugger, believe it or not. You do have a leader with a penchant for horticulture and things linked to it, and that's probably best evidenced most recently with the Highfields appeal we won on, I think, the third occasion, which protected 30 TPO trees in their setting. It is something I strongly believe in and strongly do, particularly where there is no countervailing argument not to. The Economic Development Committee at its next meeting already has a response to Michael Gove's consultation about how councils should operate to protect trees. Our response is saying, yeah, that's not bad, Michael, try harder, more trees, more hedgerows, not just protection of, planting of. We want them in new developments. We want people to think ahead on those issues. We want a minimum level of canopy and green in all areas, not just new developments and not just pre-existing. But we also need to think ahead. All trees have a life. When that tree goes, it takes a long time for the next one to catch up. So there should be planting schemes in between to sustain what occurs in that relation. So there's one example of the council already responding to government. The trees are important to us, and we feel the government needs to do more to enable us to protect more of them, because they are not all in our stewardship. The community plan, later on this agenda, is calling for an air quality plan, again linked to issues around improving public transport, but also in the recognition that trees and hedgerows help to capture particulates, particularly in town centres. It iterates our commitment to walking and cycling. It iterates that we will improve the green space strategy. It says that we'll have a free tree scheme on new developments. It says that we'll be greening in urban areas, and I will be adding into it at a later stage. We will definitely, as Michael Gove requests of us, have a tree and woodland strategy. Commitments, progress, and principles that I say now will go in place. Wait for it though. Specifically in this location, we need to make sure the municipal buildings are brought back into use. Frankly, the planting around the library is a tad tired. It's not been revisited since the library was built. Fingers crossed, I'm informed the statue there of the Roundhead and the Cavalier will be relocated onto the roundabout at Bargate and Castlegate. And so there is an opportunity to review the planting there. And similarly, albeit it is the town council, I have liaised with them also, Beaumont Gardens hasn't had much done to it in some time, and is tired and isn't fully used by the community. It certainly probably doesn't have enough for children and young people to do with it. So there's a context to that area. There's a context to the balance of what the council must look at. I am not on the planning committee. I cannot, and I do not have the powers, nor does this chamber, to extinguish a planning commission. I can't do that, but I can put a hold on the project. And that gives the opportunity to engage with others, to receive this information, and to see if we can have a more holistic scheme. I've already been in loose conversation with people who might sponsor it, and others that might design it, and let's see if there is a solution that on balance hopefully pleases people better. But I'm never going to commit to please all people all the time. It's something I've learned very rapidly is impossible in this business. To that end, Mr. Chairman, I propose for a vote that no works other than remedial shall be undertaken on the trees in this vicinity, and that the relevant director be asked to revisit the scheme in its wider perspective and reflecting the priorities of the community plan.
Do we have a second for that? Yes, Councillor Trump.
Thank you, Chairman. I question the second because not with them out there. It's not getting worse, I'm sorry.
Are there any other members? Yes, Paul.
I'd just like to comment because David's right, this is the best kind of politics. This is absolutely the best kind of politics. We, as a district council, have made a series of decisions along this path to get there. So there's a series of decisions we've made. And I think sometimes we do need to be big enough to say, we didn't get it quite right. I think we review this and to look to not assuage people's fears, but actually to take them on board and actually come up with a solution which actually makes an improvement on the scheme and also protects those trees in fact. And I get a point about the fact that we are planting more trees and hopefully that will continue as it says because we need that to continue. We can't lose mature trees and expect young trees to take the strain. So I'm really happy for the council that we accepted that we're brave enough, big enough to change, not change our mind, but to review the situation, to delay the decision, and to come up with a scheme which satisfies, hopefully part satisfies lots of people who sign that petition and took time out to demonstrate and to raise the issue. So thank you very much.
Councillor Dawn.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm more than happy to support the suggestion of it. And I congratulate you on your presentation. You've made things extremely clear. I'm also very proud to say that we're a very small group on this council, and our representative on planning, Mrs Dobson, and one other member voted against that. And we are quite happy to carry on against it, see what Councillor Lloyd comes up with, brings back, but you will always have our support. Same time, I'm delighted as well that you are including in your document green spaces. We all know the importance of green spaces for kids to play, everything else. It's really made my night to see that and to hear it, so thank you.
Councillor Dobson.
Thank you, Chairman. I too would like to say thank you to David Lloyd for his presentation. But what I would like to say is we keep being told at planning that we can't do X, Y and Z. Well, we can do X, Y and Z. We've done it tonight. We can't turn something back that we've approved. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but we can stop something in its tracks and move forward and include people who A, know what they're talking about, because with the greatest respect to colleagues on planning, half of us don't know about arboriculture. We don't, to the extent that we should do probably. But in future, I'd like to think that anything to do with green, clean, which is Keith Girling's big thing, and which is this council's big thing, is green and clean, and we're moving it forward right across the district. I would like to think we will actually stop and think about trees, as David has said, hedges and everything else. I'm getting fed up of seeing people chopping trees down, fed up to the back teeth of seeing hedges being pulled out, and I'd like to really move forward with this. So, well done, David. Well done. Where's that lady? Julia, if I can just call you Julia. Well done for bringing the petition, all of you, and the Civic Trust. And perhaps we might all listen to the people of Newark sometimes a bit more often. Thank you, Chairman.
Are there any other members that wish to speak? Councillor Crowe? Councillor Lloyd? Would you like to speak on it again, or to wind up?
Okay, thank you, Chairman. I wasn't expecting that. Yes, if I may, ever so briefly, it is just to iterate all those comments. I think we all care about these matters in the environment, and I just wish we could do more where it's on our premises. Here is the difference, because I can't overturn the planning permission, but it is a project on our premises. So I didn't want anybody leaving thinking we can arrest every planning permission to defend things. I'm delighted it is across the chamber. I hope it is reaching out to the views of petitioners that have arranged it. I sincerely hope, in fact I believe, Chairman, that there is an election between now and when this might occur, so some of us might not be here, but I do most earnestly hope whether I'm here or not, that a more positive, lasting and constructive solution will be found to it.
Thank you. Well, you've all seen the recommendation, or heard the recommendation. I will now put it to the vote. All those in favour of the recommendation? Yeah, that's unanimous. Thank you.